We are live. We're live on YouTube. Hi, guys. I am in the shop, working away, and I'll be able to chat a little bit. So hey, Art, how are you? I'm about to go live on Instagram also, just 'cause. How's it going? I've got the grinder running, and we're using the new mic. Let's see how it works. I've got like 20 minutes. You're live in real life also. That's awesome. Well, happy Saturday. What a beautiful day. It really is nice here. And but I got work to do. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this should be sounding pretty good. So Art, what are you doing today? Excellent. You probably hear the grinder and the mist collector and everything else going in the background right over that wall right there. I do not have the cameras in the same place. Multicraft, how are you? We're just in the shop today getting stuff done and checking out our streaming hardware, which will be important tomorrow for the PFG IG live. Kevin, how are you? Yeah, Saturday in the shop. Saturday messing with equipment. Hey John, how are you, neighbor? You in the shop today? Art says he's running the ST40 at work, and it's Wes off Instagram. I can't keep track. Kevin says YouTube sounds and looks good. So we're simultaneous on YouTube and Instagram. The system is settled. I guess I should put the cameras back. Let me put the cameras back. Hang on. All right. So now this is the normal setup. John just got done with a pipe fitting job. Off to the shop. Thank you for checking in, John. I appreciate it. I'm doing a little organizing here. Down maybe. It's not bad. Yeah, I'm glad we got some of the bugs worked out of the YouTube stream. I'm feeling very comfortable with it now. So that all seems to be very healthy. Manuel, welcome aboard. Yeah, I guess we just have to name this Saturday in the shop. That's pretty generic name. Saturday shenanigans. The difference between today and tomorrow is today we're doing nothing serious, and there will be multiple interruptions while I go flip things. In fact, I'm going to go check on the grinder right now. BRB, LOL. Okay, we're doing good. No emergencies. So let's see. Art / Wes. Art that makes art. So it's Wes. So Wes is in the shop running the ST40. That sounds like fun. Wes, remind me where you are, because I don't remember. I also have to go change glasses. Let me change glasses. I'll be right back. Okay, now we're official. So I've got 10 minutes that I can schmooze here. I'm playing with OBS. There we go. That works. You wrote it big. South Central Ohio, Idaho. I have actually a friend of my kiddo is in Boise. How far are you from Boise? And are you impressed that I learned how to pronounce it? So I don't know if, hey, Defla Great, how are you? This is just Saturday in the shop. I guess we're going to call it that now. I don't know if Nathaniel's around, but he just placed an order. Thank you, Nathaniel. Your order will be made, I think today. I think today we will start on the 4-inch stones. I'm finishing up 6-inch stones right now. So the way I run this, I try to have a lot of efficiency. So while something is on the grinder, if I have hand work to do, like dehorning the edges of the stones, I like to do that at the same time, get a lot of parallelism going. But right now, I just started today's, or I should say, I'm wrapping up the 6-inch grinding, so I don't have stuff to work on by hand. So we try to stay efficient. But you guys are worth talking to, so what the heck. I'm also keeping an eye on other channels. So I also will be on the Amateur Redneck Workshop tomorrow. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I do not have links or anything. They're probably sitting in my email waiting for me, but I did get contacted. So I'll be there, and I have no idea what we're talking about tomorrow. So we'll see. Anybody ever use that hydro seeding grass seed? We just had that done, and I posted on Facebook. I posted a picture, and I said that we just decided to pave it and paint it green, and that's exactly what it looked like. And I had one person actually say to me, "You did?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." That was pretty funny though. I just realized I lost my, there it is, 143 miles near Twin Falls. Okay, I have a story about Twin Falls, Idaho. Would you like to hear my Twin Falls, Idaho story? About 1 million years ago, I bought a Rolex, as one does. And, you know, it's a lot of money. It was a big deal. So I called up Rolex in New York City, and I got customer service, and they were real nice. Of course they're real nice. They're about to take all your money. So the Rolex person I talked to there said, well, we're not allowed to specifically recommend any particular dealers, but I can give you 3 random ones. I'm like, oh, I get it. So this person was doing me a real good service, and I said, yes, I would like 3 random Rolex dealers. So she gave me the name of this jeweler in Twin Falls, Idaho. And I'll never forget it. I called up, and the name of the I don't remember the name of the jeweler in Twin Falls, Idaho, but the name of the person I'll never forget was Mary Lou McMurdy. And Mary Lou was awesome. And apparently they gave me this recommendation because they had inventory and they weren't moving it too quickly. And, you know, this was good for everybody. So so Mary Lou McMurdy in Twin Falls, Idaho took care of me, gave me an excellent price on my brand new Rolex, and I've had it ever since. I mean, this was literally, it's probably 30 years ago. And let me tell you, that was a good investment. I think that multiplied by, well, at least 5x. I could sell that for 5x. But I won't, because I like it. Hey guys, Hot Big Mike is on. S. Marshall, that's probably what it is. Welcome aboard. Please do a live about antennas sometime. I'm sure there's basic stuff that's not proprietary. Okay. Hey Gibson Garage, welcome aboard. So I am going to do some stuff on antennas. I'm doing some stuff on Tuesday night. It's going to be on Zoom, and it's going to be for members of the Nashua, New Hampshire, the Nashua Amateur Radio Society. And they have, I think every month they have a tech night. And the interesting thing is that the tech night on Zoom was so successful, and that of course was born because in-person meetings stopped during COVID. So the tech nights went remote. Well, the tech nights have stayed remote, and the membership of the club outside of the Nashua, New Hampshire area has greatly increased. So we're keeping the tech nights remote. So Tuesday night's a tech night. I'm doing a thing on, the topic is antennas you can build. Now, here's the thing. If you wanna be in on this Zoom meeting, you have to go join the Nashua Amateur Radio Society. I didn't think I'd be talking about this today. So if you just get on the Gargler and look up the Nashua Amateur Radio Society in Nashua, New Hampshire, if you want to join as a remote member, I don't know, I honestly cannot remember how much it costs. It's not that much money. And you join, and you join before Tuesday, you can jump in on that. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to do a antenna thing for you guys. I'm happy to do it. I just don't have a plan yet. How's that, sir? And it's all a good cause. The Nashua Amateur Radio Society is an awesome amateur radio group, and does a lot of public service. lot of education. So, and I am now a member just to help out. I think I have to go attend to the grinder. I should make a text thing on YouTube that says, "Be right back." Oh, that's awesome. What do you think, YouTube? Does that get the point across? I'm really liking OBS. All right, I don't have anything fancy to do for Instagram, guys, but I'll be right back. I got to go do a thing. This might be about 3 or 4 minutes, but I'll be back. He's back. How's that? Excellent audio on YouTube. Thank you. Yeah, boy, we worked hard on that, didn't we? So the only difference from the test we did yesterday, which was pretty extensive, and now was the shotgun mic was here, and today the shotgun mic is off camera here, and it's almost a little crossways. But it's pointing, as a shotgun, you know, it's pretty directional. It's pointing away from the mist collector and the grinder, so it reduces the background a little bit. But also having the microphone a little off axis is also an excellent thing to do for audio. Apparently, I'm learning from the School of Hard Knocks here. So there you go. So I've got another 20 minutes. Where's my water? And we're being reasonably efficient now. So I have at least another 20 minutes to stream here, and then I have to go take some edges off of the PFG Stones. The other good news is that we're streaming to YouTube and getting no warnings or anything. Hey Chuck, how are you? I was just watching you on YouTube. Yeah, earlier. So I was wondering if my jet notcher had the same hole pattern as your very nice diacro notcher, because I kind of liked the that universal locked question mark. I didn't understand your question, Chuck. Oh, thanks for the wave. Yeah, so I liked the I don't know, what do you call it, the guides that you had with your diacro. So that's why I sent you that message, or I made a comment on your post that it would be kind of cool to get a drawing or a, you know, a snapshot of it. I have to check my jet notcher and see if it's the same, if it's a dead copy of the diacro, which if I know my jet brand, it probably is. So if you're just joining us, this is just Saturday in the shop stream. This is not the PFG IG live, IG/YouTube live, which will be tomorrow. I'm just working in the shop. Who else is working in the shop? Chuck, you must be working in the shop. Oh, I could have timestamps on the chat in YouTube. That's awesome. I'm happy to take any shop questions, by the way, or any antenna questions. So Deflagrate asks, how modern cars do AM/FM antennas now that they've gone away from quarter wave whips? So that's a fair question. There's a couple of ways. My least favorite way is that they're using some of the, you know, the defroster wires that they embed on or in the glass, either in the windshield or in the back window. So they've played around with using some of those wires. Kevin's at work today. He says, I'm at real work today, fixing people's broken horns. So Kevin is a instrument repair person. So he's making people's instruments better. So so the wires on windshields thing is a thing. I'm not thrilled with it. The other thing that they're doing now is, if you look at the top center line rear of the car, usually there's either a shark fin or a little short antenna that's about I don't know, 7 inches long or something, at an angle off the top of the car. And usually those contain everything. They have a GPS antenna. They have an antenna for XM radio, which I'm trying to remember what the frequency is. It may be combined with the GPS antenna. That little whip is used for both FM and AM. So on FM, it's just a short, not quite quarter wave whip. And on AM, it is what we call an E-field probe. It's a very, very short antenna, but it goes into a little amplifier right at the base of the antenna. So that now you've got GPS, XM radio, AM, FM. The only other thing we're missing is, a lot of cars have Wi-Fi. So there's a 2.4 gigahertz antenna typically. I don't know if they stuff it into that thing. I don't think they do. I think that's like under the dashboard somewhere. So how many antennas are we up to in a car? I mean, it's crazy. The other thing that could be in a car is not technically an antenna. It could be well, there's one. There are RFID things in cars for keys and whatnot, and you can consider those antennas. So that's typically going to be it. If it's a very close, like some glove compartments have a little space where you put your dongle, your car dongle, if things aren't working right. That is NFC, so that's near field communications. That's technically not an antenna; it's a transducer. So yeah, there's a lot of antennas. Did I answer their question? But there's a lot of stuff in a modern car. John's back. John, I'm getting antenna questions. Now you could tell that nothing's going on here. Tuck Garage, how are you? So we're doing the dual channel thing, YouTube and Instagram, just because we can. And it's just Saturday in the shop. I'm watching, I got 10 more minutes, and then I got to go, as my family is now saying, flip my stones. It's a little more comfortable without these on. Titus is here. How are you? So if you placed an order for PFG Stones in the last 48 hours, I'm making them right now. That's how it works. Real person doing real work, making real PFG Stones. Hey Titus, it's going great. I had a great morning at Taekwondo. I came home. My beautiful wife made me some eggs. We had delicious eggs, and now I'm grinding stones to make other people happy. And the sun is shining. It doesn't get any better than this. How are you doing? What are you up to? I'll tell you, the one thing that OBS doesn't quite do for me is it doesn't tell me how many people are watching. The audio stuff yesterday went extremely well. I'll tell you the bottom line is I'm sitting at lunch today, and I'm eating my eggs that my beautiful wife made for me after Taekwondo. And I brought up the video from last night, which I took off the public. I took it away from public visibility. It's now not private. It's unlisted. So if you had the link from yesterday, it'll still work. But I listened to it because I didn't hear it. And those first two microphones were shit. They were horrible. So that was the big takeaway for me. It's like, those are terrible. And then once I got the Zoom unit working, they both sounded good, but they definitely were different. And from a directionality point of view, the shotgun mic is the better choice. So huge lessons learned. The lesson I took away is I figured out how to start using a monitor channel so I could actually listen to my own audio, and I would have detected that in a heartbeat. Delrin plates. What? That's like machining Delrin is wonderful. It's like a gimme. Kevin says, any opinions on what the FAA/FCC should do with aircraft communications gear? Continue with 1930s tech? Kevin, excellent question. So, for those of you that don't know, I gave it away. Aviation radios are now 108 to 136. How'd I do? I think it's 108 to 130. No, 108 is the bottom of the FM band. No, it isn't. It's the top of the FM band. So I think it's 108 to 136, but it's AM. So it's AM voice communications. So every time you see an airplane flying around, when that guy's talking to another airplane or talking to air traffic control, all of those communications are AM on VHF in the vicinity of 110 megahertz. So only in the last 20 years have other communications channels started being used, like the Mode S transponders that are doing some digital communications on transponder frequencies, which is up at 1100 megahertz. But the basic voice communications is still the same. It's really hard to tell an entire country's fleet. No, I take it back. It's really hard to tell an entire world's aviation fleet, yeah, we're going to go digital, throw all that stuff out. That's hard. So that's the problem, is switching over. And except for AM broadcast radio, which is AM voice, but even that's really fancy now, it's the only AM voice communications left. That's it, is aviation. So, getting back to your question, what is my opinion about what the FAA, FCC should do with aircraft communications gear? So here's what they're going to have to do. If somebody comes up with a better standard for that gear, you're going to have to make boxes that do both. You have to. And that's going to have to last for 10 years. Easy. And that's not easy. Okay? That's money. So, if it works, don't fix it. I guess that's the bottom line. VHF stands for very high frequency, and it stands for the frequency range 30 megahertz to 300 megahertz. That is the definition of VHF, very high frequency. 300 megahertz to 3000 megahertz is UHF, and on the way down, 3 megahertz to 30 megahertz is HF. We just had this conversation with a buddy of mine the other day, and it goes down from there. So it's every decade, but it starts with a 3. So 3 to 30, 30 to 300, etc. I'm actually not familiar with the Weird Al Yankovic movie VHF, but now you put it in my head, I'm going to have to go find it. That's pretty funny. Yeah, that's an FCC definition. So Titus asks, he says, I just noticed your hat. Do you own a Kaeser compressor or just the hat? I own a Kaeser compressor, and I like it. I like it a lot. So I used to have a 5 horsepower, 80-gallon Quincy QT5 compressor. Absolutely bulletproof. Loved it. That compressor sat right over there in the corner. Of course, the corner of the shop makes, here comes an antenna reference, a corner reflector. So it was noisy in the shop. Every piston compressor is noisy in the shop. So I eventually, just a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago, replaced it with a Kaeser 5 SXT, I think that's the number, which is a standalone 5 horsepower single phase screw compressor, and a 80-gallon, a stubby short 80-gallon tank. And they are in the basement of my house, and the 80-gallon tank is tucked under the stairs, which used to be just full of junk. So for a very tiny footprint, I added a Kaeser in the basement. It's so quiet. I should say, let me say it differently. It's sufficiently quiet that it can live in the house basement, and it's not bad. It sounds like an air conditioner coming on when it kicks in. And frankly, if the basement door is closed, the door to the stairs leading to the basement, if that's closed and you are not within 10 feet of that door, you don't even know that it went off. And I love it. And then, so what I did is of course, it's feeding my air system from the other direction, and where the Quincy used to be, which is right at the bottom of the stairs when you come into the garage, I got a big 4-inch pressure gauge, which I could see from here, so I could check the air pressure and know that my system is okay because I can't hear it anymore. Kramer from Seinfeld is in that movie. Okay, I'll check it out. VHF, roger that. Hello, Hobby Bat. I didn't say hello to you. If you're just joining us, we are streaming on YouTube on Kinetic Precision NH. That's the new YouTube channel. Simultaneous with Instagram on Spencer_Webb_NH. So yes. Oh, I just heard the magic sound. I have to go flip stones. So I will be right back. Instagrammers, if you're bored, just hang out. YouTubers, I just put up the BRB. I'll be back in a second. I am back. I don't know if anybody survived that. It shows that 3 people are still hanging in here. Tibor, welcome aboard. I'm letting a few people know about the YouTube stream. Heated, beaded, and filled the pinion and rack on the lathe, and it's going nicely. YouTube sounds great. Thank you, sir. That's almost machining. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think we solved a bunch of problems. Hey, take care, Kevin. Blow the horn for me sometime. I still owe you some thinking on and some doing on that valve lap. Let's talk about that. And before everybody gets excited, it's an instrument valve, not a 350 Chevy from 1972. Can you talk a little bit about your storage? Like what looks to be a Lista cabinet. Where are we? So let's see. If you're on YouTube, actually if you're on anything, yeah, there's a Lista cabinet right there. So I own one. So it's not, I own 3 cabinets that are almost Lista. They're the other one. I can't remember. And then the one you're sitting on right here is a Lista cabinet. So my standing desk in the shop is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a 10 drawer Lista that goes from 2 inches to 3.5 inches or something in the height. And then I have like 8 drawer cabinets, not Lista, but the next one, can't remember. Hey Carl, excellent. And I have those 2 there. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. Those 2 support my workbench. So those are a little shorter. Those are like 30 inches or 32 inches high. And then this guy here is a 5 foot high with the bigger drawers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that one holds, that one for YouTube, it's that one holds my lathe chucks, my lathe vices, my grinder vices. So it's heavy stuff, but amazingly, it couldn't care less. So I have one drawer that has 4 lathe vices in 4 lathe chucks in it, and you can go over with your pinky and open that drawer. So I'm very happy about it. Yeah, lathe chucks is down here. I'm sorry, it's only got, no, it's got 4. It's got 4 lathe chucks, and then there's a 5th one that's on the lathe. So yeah, that's the Listas, and I can't remember the other one. If somebody comes up with it, let me know. I don't remember. It's the not Lista, but they're the same. I actually like the not Lista because the name tags are flat. So I make nameplates like this. Okay, so this is just an 062 aluminum plate that I shear to size, and then I put one of my brother labels on it, and that slides right into the handle for labeling. And the reason that's really super cool is that I can move things and change things, and it's easy. The true Lista cabinets have this curve on them that you have to use a flexible label, and I don't like that. Oh, I take it back. I have one more cabinet over here, which you cannot see, and that's a I don't know, 48-inch cabinet, and that's my hardware cabinet. So all my screws and stuff, and I get the little plastic containers, these things, from Schaller. So these are Schaller bins. I'm a big customer of Schaller bins. So there you go. Probably, Titus, more information than you ever wanted to know. I know Kevin's gone, but I just got his double entendre on the YouTube chat. So, you know, one of the things that happens on, well, both YouTube and Instagram is you get, you know, random people showing up, eager to see what the hell's going on with this live. And they're probably not from the machining community. And they see this stuff and they're like, these guys are weird. Yes. Yes, we are. So what are some other projects that you guys are working on today? And if you're out sitting in the sunshine enjoying a beautiful day, you're probably not here. like the weird guys that are actually working. Almost Machining asks, what are you going to prefer to get comments on? You want to push over to YouTube as the comments section is a bit larger, or keep on Instagram as it is more real time? I don't know. I don't have an opinion right now. Originally our YouTube effort was to have a place for hi Steve. Talking about comments. Originally we were going to use YouTube as the place to have all the back catalog, but not the lives. And then I said, well, let's learn about YouTube lives. And that's what started this whole mess. So we are learning a lot about YouTube Live. So we're going to kind of keep doing this parallel thing. I don't care where your comments go. I can see both of them. The big win on YouTube is that the comments, the chat, is saved with the video. So if you watch the video after the fact, you see all the comments. Whereas on Instagram, you lose all the comments. So I think that's the big difference. So a comment on YouTube is forever. I'm not sure where we're going yet. Carl says, do you get notified when people join on YouTube? Or do they have to comment? Right at this moment, I do not have a count of people watching. That is something that I'm using OBS to stream to YouTube. And that's something I don't have solved yet. So the answer is I have no idea how many people are on YouTube. And in fact, I'm going to go bring up the video and see if there's a people watching thing. I don't think there is. So that's the answer to your question. I don't have. Oh, actually, it says right here. I did get to some place on YouTube that says 2 are watching. All right. That that is a good question though. When we when we do YouTube lives, it would be nice to have that information. I'll tell you another thing about having the computer and the phone. I keep wanting to do something on the phone. I keep reaching for my trackball. That doesn't work. Holiday Precision, welcome aboard. Are you working in the shop today? I've got about 9 more minutes before I have to change parts. This broadcast brought to you by CNC Machining. CNC Machining knows you have better things to do than stand there and turn cranks. That's CNC Machining. Look for it on a YouTube channel near you. So Carl says you can see individuals join on Instagram. Yes. On Instagram, I have a little box at the top, right there on my screen, and it says, for example, it says 5. So I think I have 5 people watching on Instagram. I don't have that on the YouTube screen right now, but I will figure it out. You could bet your bippy that I will figure it out. I have a window over here, which if I oh, maybe I can go over to, let me try something here. If I go over to Studio, I wonder if Studio will show. Holiday is taking the day off from the hosses. Yeah, Studio doesn't do what we need. Anyway, I'll figure it out. Somebody has solved this problem, and maybe it's a thing in OBS. Almost Machining says, do I prepare and epoxy fill the base of my 7045 mil? I have not decided on a ball screw arrangement yet, which, if I epoxy it now, I may have issues with the bearing block. If you epoxy it now, you may have issues with the bearing block. Interesting. I don't have a picture of your mill in my head. I think I've seen it. Yeah, I would wait until you get all your mechanism figured out, and then do your epoxy fill. Apparently, you're worried that it's going to be somewhere where you might have to blast a hole through or something, in which case, if the epoxy's already there, it's going to be problematic. Looking forward to seeing that. Epoxy sand, epoxy granite, epoxy gravel. Sounds really interesting to me. Well, everybody has liked the audio so far, and that makes me extremely happy. So thank you very much. And having the microphone off to this side, it's completely out of the way, and I'm totally tickled with it. Would you believe we're coming up on an hour live on YouTube? I'm getting poked on other channels. So almost, is this going to be the first epoxy filled base or epoxy sand, epoxy whatever that you've done? By the way, if you joined us just recently, I listened to yesterday's video that we did, which was all just testing audio, right? So I was having I was having lunch and I listened to it, and it was so obvious. There was no maybes about which the good mic was, and Adam from MHM Machining kind of nailed it. He said, "Yeah, there's no comparison." Yeah, so almost says that the reason is that the underside of his mill base is more like a bell. The total material under the way surface is under half an inch. Also, the ribs do not fully go across the bottom. That sounds like it's going to benefit a lot from an epoxy fill. That's very exciting. Well, if it's not in the way, just I guess you're going to do it when it's convenient. You might want to think about if you have enough things that are going to bite into the epoxy, you know, enough features in the casting, then you don't have to worry about it. But if not, you might want to think about some things. I've got 4 minutes left, and then I got to go flip parts. I just had a little warning about our video encoding. Maybe I'll turn it down a little bit. All right, Titus, you take care. You have a great one. I'm going to be in the shop until dinner, I think. Thanks for being here, and thanks for contributing to the mayhem. Oh, I guess you can see the mic now on YouTube. Didn't realize that. B. Heinrich 700, welcome aboard. If you're confused about what's going on, it's just stuff happening in the shop. Just a chat day. All right, Indiana John, you take care, have fun. Yeah, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and on Instagram. And then also, hey, Ukraine is here. Alex, how are you? Tomorrow, our PFG Live is at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 17 Zulu. And then at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, the Amateur Redneck Workshop Live will be on YouTube. So keep an eye out for that. I volunteered to be one of the crew for that tomorrow. That should be a lot of fun. And that's usually about 9 people. So Almost Machining says others did not seem to add in epoxy grip features. I've debated TIG brazing in some spikes as well as drilling and tapping in other pieces. However, if I do that, I run a risk of having movement. And I assume you mean movement in the machine. Yeah. You pays your money, you takes your chances. I don't think I have an opinion, except that filling it can't do anything but help. Okay, I got a BRB. I have to go flip parts, so YouTube will get the big BRB flag. Instagram, I don't have like a little flag I could put up. I guess right here I could do a BRB. Let's see. Can we fake this? Can you see that card? Anyway, I'll be right back. I am back. And no questions. Well, I think the experiment has worked. I'm going to probably wrap this up. I will leave this video up for on YouTube for a little while. But I think all our technical details have been worked out, and we are good to go for tomorrow. So I'm going to keep working. I have enough. Do I do any strength training? I know what you're asking, and the answer is no. I practice Taekwondo, and all of my Taekwondo training is Taekwondo. I hope that answers the question. Unless you're impressed by the t-shirt, in which case I wouldn't be. So we've been live here for over an hour in the shop. I'm going to keep working here. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for asking. I think, working in the shop is its own training, right? But I do practice Taekwondo, and I'm training 3 times a week, sometimes more. Okay, let's see if we could discern anything about YouTube. Yep, we're down to 1 watching, which might be me, which is kind of boring. Very good question. Are there any pitfalls to be aware of in doing a garage shop as far as running a business from your garage? That, sir, is an excellent question. And you should be on the live tomorrow. We're going to do the same setup. We'll be here tomorrow at 1. That's a really good question to ask, but I'll give you an answer. If you run a business from your home, you have zoning issues. So you have to deal with that. Oh, that's you almost? Okay. So when we bought this house, we moved from a town over. I went right to the town hall and did all that stuff about, hey, I'm going to run a business out of my house. And they gave me stuff to fill out, and I had to come to a meeting. Almost Machining says, yeah, too many machines may flip your house over. That's true. It's a problem. So I went before the technical committee of the planning board, and they asked me a bunch of questions, and they went something like this. Well, what kind of sign are you going to hang outside your shop? And I said, I don't want a sign outside my shop. There will be no sign outside my shop. Oh, okay. And then the question was, how much noise are you going to make? And I said, well, if you are not standing on my property, you will not even be able to detect I have a machine running. Oh, okay. What kind of stuff are you going to build outside your house? You know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, because I do antenna work. I said, well, I am going to have antennas set up in my front yard. And they got, a couple of them got excited. Like, oh, this is something we can latch onto. And I said, and after my testing, I take them down and bring them back inside. Nothing there. So we went through that whole thing, and then they said, well, now you have to come back and go before the planning board. So I did that, came before the planning board, and it was kind of like another couple of questions. And then they're like, okay, fine. And signed me off, and that was it. So from a planning board, town rules sort of thing, you have to do your thing. And if there's any permits or any of that stuff, you have to do your thing. And in my case, I'm not generating a lot of traffic. I don't have 18-wheelers showing up, dropping off, I-beams every day. So it's a non-issue. But I would say if I had to condense all of that into a sound bite, it would be find out what the rules are in your town and follow them. Good. I'm glad that helped. It's easy to be scared off by this stuff, but hey, you're paying taxes. You're just, the people sitting on the planning board, they also put their pants on one leg at a time. So just do all the right things. And the reason it's important to do all the right things is that if you ever have a wacko neighbor who wants to shut you down, you have a history of having done all the right things, following all the rules. You're a good citizen. You participate in the community. You're not going to have an issue. Now, if you live out in the country and you have a big barn, we don't have to have this conversation, okay? But I've been working for myself and working out of the house now for 25 years, and I've never had an issue. Hey, Job Shop Machining, welcome aboard. So, Mr. Heinrich, do you currently work out of your garage, or you were just thinking about setting something up? Don't forget that, go follow John Saunders' story, NYC CNC. The reason his channel is called NYC CNC is because he started in New York City. Now, I'm from New York City. So we had some yucks about that, and that's if you're able to start a business in a New York City apartment, and then they move to the suburbs. And the funny thing about that is they moved to the same town that my wife was from, so we had some yucks about that. And he recently said on Business of Machining that the reason he moved to the suburbs was specifically to have a garage so he could set up machine shop. Just hobby level, milling a couple lathes. If it's hobby level, you don't have to even do any of the stuff we talked about. So there's some really good things to talk about from a mechanical point of view, like what's the floor of the garage like? Probably the biggest one is electrical service. How are you going to deal with electrical? How are you going to deal with air, shop air? You have to figure those things out. Learn how to put a VFD on a three-phase motor, because you're going to be putting VFDs on three-phase motors. If you have a few big gold machines, you may want to get a big converter, like a Phase Perfect or an American Rotary. Different technologies, same result. Take 2-phase, make 3-phase. So those are things to think about. After that, there's luxury things to think about, like good light, noise. Again, be a good neighbor. Anyway, this is a really excellent topic for a whole day's worth, a whole IG live. So maybe we'll do that. Also, this might be a good topic for the Amateur Redneck Workshop, because you get a whole bunch of guys chiming in on that. Yeah, I wouldn't let fear keep you from doing it. I don't know where you are, and I don't know your specific situation. But if you're a good citizen and you're trying to do the right thing and still be a good neighbor, you should be able to achieve all that. Conversely, and I'm not saying this to you, I'm just saying this in general, if you're a jerk and you say, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want and screw everybody else, and if I'm running my compressor at 2 in the morning and I have my lathe screaming because it's chattering, there's no code in the world that's going to protect you. Yeah. So, there you go. OSHA is for the birds. Yeah, don't worry about OSHA. So if you're self-employed, if it's just you, I don't think that's an issue. You guys have the skill, the finely tuned skill of, as soon as I try to shut this thing down, you come in with excellent questions. Almost Machining says power requirements. Some suppliers with the smart meters can charge more as machines draw a different load of power. I was mostly in jest about the machine count. Slab thickness does matter. So I'm going to leave power requirements as sort of the high level thing you have to look into. I agree with you. And the whole thing about some suppliers with the smart meters do funny business, I don't know anything about that. But I do know that you have to just consider power requirements. So it's being just me. I could have my mill going, running a program. I could have the lathe theoretically running a program, and I could have the grinder running a program. So practically that doesn't happen, but it potentially could. Ardent Industries, welcome aboard. So those are all things to think about. But again, if you're a good neighbor and you're going to set up a shop in your garage, and you should be able to do that. Another thing to think about, and not by way of unfairly, manipulating people, but like my town has a high school. I've been a volunteer at the high school now for years, and I've helped out in several different capacities. And people generally know me, and know that I'm a volunteer and I help out. And if anything ever came up, I think that would help. Nothing has come up. So almost machining also brings up floor thickness, slab thickness. So if you have a crappy garage and you got 2.5 inches of concrete, you could be in for some trouble. I am really happy. I have not measured the thickness of my garage floor, but I have remeasured my machines after leveling them and after 10 years, and they have not budged at all. So I'm pretty lucky that way. So understand your floor slab, understand your foundation situation, sort that out. Thank you, Almost. That was excellent input. I think we're going to shut this down in about 7 minutes, which is when I have to go change parts. And today's prize for coming in 7 minutes before shutting down the stream goes to From Scratch to Watch. Welcome. So Job Shop Machining says they are building new houses out here on old farmland and all the slabs are cracking. Yeah, because they don't care, right? Concrete costs money. Prep costs money. I will tell you a story. Yeah. Oh, and to put a fine point on that, yes, I consider myself very lucky that this worked out as well as it did. Again, I never measured the slab, but just experientially, it has been stable. So I'm happy. Now I'll tell you a funny story. So I lived one town over, and in living one town over, we lived there for 22 years total, and at some point I decided I wanted a shop, and I built my own garage. So it was separate building, 3-car garage, office space above, way oversized. I think it was 24 by 36. It's actually, I think it's the same footprint as this shop. I did all the lighting calculations. I specified the slab. We had 6 inches minimum slab thickness. I had radiant heating in the floor. It was awesome. So when we're building, I was the general contractor for that project. So when we're building the garage, I had this father and son team come in, and they were my excavators to do all the dirt work. So they excavated for the foundation and did all the fill and everything. They were excellent. So they come over to me at one point and they said, "Look, we're looking for fill. We're out looking for clean fill, and we can't find any. But the gravel place has stone dust, and I think we're just going to fill with stone dust." And what do I know? It's my first general contracting job. So they filled like 3 feet or 4 feet of the hole with stone dust. This is inside the foundation, so the foundation's already poured. So they would fill 6 inches and go around with the compactor, and fill 6 inches and go around with the compactor. And this went on until the dirt floor, came up to the appropriate level. Now, again, what do I know? So the framers show up, and the framers are building their walls, right? And they want to put a stake in the ground to support the wall while they're doing the next wall. And they go to try to put a stake in the ground on the inside of the garage in the dirt floor. Not happening. So these guys put in the dirt floor with stone dust, compacted every 6 inches. It may as well have been a slab of granite. Okay? It was awesome. Then I had the floor guy come in and do the floor, 8 inches. So that garage was just, I really miss it, because a lot of cool engineering went into it. And good engineering doesn't cost more than crappy engineering. So anyway, it worked out really well. The other story from that is we used engineered beams in the ceiling of the shop or the floor of the upstairs, depending on how you want to look at it. And the general contractor ordered one too many of the beams. So the framers came over to me and said, "What do you want me to do with this extra beam?" So we kind of thought about it, and I said, "Well, go right to the center line, of where all the beams are. Go right to the center line and just drop it in. So just have an extra one." You could land a helicopter on the second floor of that structure. It was awesome. I could have built another machine shop upstairs. And that was $100, of oops, we ordered one too many. So that was a very long story. I might edit this down to just that story and put it on YouTube. But I hope that answers your question and maybe some questions you didn't ask. Okay, I'm coming up to the end of cycle on this work that I'm doing. I think we've sufficiently tested out our live stream capability on both YouTube and Instagram simultaneously. I'm very happy. Tomorrow is Sunday. Sunday 1 p.m. Eastern will be the PFG IG Live, where we will talk like this and take your questions, but it'll be our usual time and we'll have a much bigger crowd. So thanks for being here for the testing. You know, it's all about the testing. So thank you very much. Thanks for the likes. I see them, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.